How you doing, Tony? Uh, well, for some of you, it's midday, and for some, it's early in the morning. Anyway, well, we'll wait for a while, Tony, until some other people show up. Who else is here? We got a bunch of people there. Hi, Derek. How you doing, man? Let's see. Hey, Bruce and Hans. Hi, Hans. How are things in Germany? Oh, the I guess we're sort of at the beginning of the end of our pandemic. Let's hope so, anyway. But I fled to Greece. Okay, how are things in Greece? They had a rough time for a while. I know that with the pandemic. One of the things that with now I think there are a lot of places that are starting to have the vaccine that was developed originally in Germany, and then Pfizer got it, and Pfizer did something with it, and now it's in England, and they're doing some more. Hi, William. But the big thing is that we got to be careful. You don't want to be the last guy to get that stuff before it's all set out. Corona-free small island, not too many watch collectors here. Okay. So anyway, so that's good. Still, be careful. We don't have much. I mean, it's like probably by this summer, I think it'll be in pretty good shape. And I'm hoping by October, when they have the, what's it called? The Watch Time show in New York in October, we can all go to that again. And that's where we meet up in real time. Last year we couldn't go because of the pandemic. They had to cancel it. So, hi, Jean-Claude, how you doing? So anyway, well, listen. Let me tell you what I'd like to do today, if we could. Everybody greeting each other. That's good. It's good to be friendly. Hi, Dwayne and Nico and NS something. Hughes, right? That's Hughes, I think. Hey, William and Tom. Hi, Thomas. GMT Master, good morning. And Underachiever, how are you? So let's sort of watch and pray, huh? Yeah, that's the thing to do. How you doing, man? Okay, well, let's sort of start talking about this, and a couple things that I found since I had that little vest pocket video about it. One of the things that we're going to need, we're going to talk about, this is a very similar one. This is called an ETA 2824. I think that's the correct number on it. It's not the one you want. It's not nowhere near as good as the 2892. Okay, I keep getting these numbers messed up. This one is very similar to it, though. This one I pulled out of my Raymond Weil. And if you're not sure about it, this is I think a 10x loop, and right here near the, I don't know if you can see it, right near the base of the balance, you sort of got to hold the rotor out of the way. I better put on my finger cots, but anyway, this isn't the one I'm going to use, so I'm not too worried about it. You can see the exact designation of it. It's really hard to see, though. One of the easiest ways to see it is to take your camera, take a picture of it, and again, it's right here at the tip of the balance wheel. Okay, right there. And they put this little bitty thing, and I'll tell you the number of it, and then it's easy to see. Okay, so that's sort of the base movement. Now, the reason for this base movement is this. What I found out, a lot of the independents, these are guys like Antoine Peruzio, Vincent Calabresi. These guys, they'll go off and do a tourbillon during their lunch break. The super talent Christian Vanderklaw, a lot of these guys, when they have sort of their entry level watches, what they do is they use an ETA 60, no wait, God, what is it, 20, 28, 24, or 28, or crap. I've got to write down all of these numbers because I keep forgetting the numbers on them. Anyway, it's the one for their basic movement. And what they do with it, then they put their own complication on top of it. What I'm going to do, let me open this up so I can be sure to get the right one. This is it. Okay, yeah, it's 2892A2. That's the one that we're going to use. And some of the clones for are the Soprod A10, if you can find one of those, Sellita SW300-1. Now, the SW200-1 is the Sellita clone of this one right here, and that's not the one you want. And finally, there's a Siegel ST1812. Now, in terms of getting your mitts on a movement that you want, the prices are pretty much aligned with. They're around $200 to $300 for the 2892 A2. Same with the A10. The Sellita is more 200-ish, and the a good Siegel ST1812 is right around 100 and change. Now, the reason I mention that, and I mentioned Siegel specifically, if you go to some place like AliExpress, and I bought a lot of things from AliExpress for movements and stuff, if you get one of those from there, this is a 6498 or 97, one of the two that I broke. And if you get one of these, there are all kinds of levels of quality. And I got an email from this woman who's one of our subscribers from China, and she said, "Look, if you're going to get a Siegel, get a good one." And by that she meant get one from their factory, and she gave me an email and everything for a link, and I'll get that to you. But the thing about Siegel, you're not getting a high horology movement by any stretch of the imagination, and there's some variation in the quality of the movements of the clones that you have, but they're a lot less expensive. So that's, I mean, like about a third of what they cost for a decent one. So anyway, so here, this is an example of one. This is my $200 regulator from China that I've had for a long time. It works great. So, and if you want one, if you're going to go sort of for the lower end of things, I think getting the right Siegel, the 1812, is the way to go because it has the same dimensions and everything else as the 2892. I keep looking up here because that's where I brought it up on my computer, so I wouldn't keep getting the numbers messed up. So anyway, so what you want is the 2892 A2, and you'd be surprised. You go out, you're going to find a million 2824s, like this little guy right here that I had hoped was going to be a 92, but it's not. And you don't want this. It just there's, I don't know why, but you don't. It's not a bad movement. In fact, it served me very well for a number of years in my Raymond Weil, but it's just not what I want. Um, some of the other stuff that you want to think about, excuse me. Hi, Andrew and Joas. And this is where things get really, really tricky. I've had this thing sitting around for a while. It's a movement. I mean, not a movement, but a case with sapphire front and back to it. And I got it for for a bigger movement, obviously. And so you put them together something like this, and this goes on the inside, and that's it. I mean, when we're talking about making these things, they're not very hard, but you got to be careful, and you got to get the right size. And so this is one of the big challenges. This one thing I saw on eBay was for a 2894 2892 with a 44 millimeter case, which is, that's a lot of case. But then another one I saw from Germany, which was much more expensive, was 39 millimeters. You find a 39 millimeter case or a 40 millimeter case, I think I think that would be better. Now, if you got great big wrist and you're a big guy, one of the 44 millimeters might work just fine. A lot of the stuff that I have for my 6498s is that, but for this you can do a lot better, I think. Hey, Andrew and Joas and Joaz. I hope I can say that right, Joaz. And Andrew, how you guys doing? Junior, good morning. So these are some of the things I think that are going to be sort of interesting to find out about. By the way, too, I don't know if you save your vitamin bottles or prescriptions or anything like this. What's in here is rubbing alcohol, and what you can do with this is that let's say you decide you have an old watch with a 2892 in it and you want to take it out. This is great for cleaning all the gunk off of it once you do it. And like I said, I just keep it in this old pill bottle. I hate throwing anything out, so I sort of I got a lot of these. And my wife comes when I'm not looking and throws them all out. So that's the way it goes. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is, why this particular one? These 6498 are very popular. They're hand wound. They're 2.5 hertz. I mean, just like everything I love about watches are in the 6498. Yeah, I think that's it. 6498 and 6497 that Unitas originally built, and then they went to ETA. And I made a number of watches using it, and I do like it a lot. But I've never built an automatic before. And the thing about an automatic that is sort of fun is that it's automatic. The other ones aren't. One of the things about an automatic that I think is important, usually the rotor adds to the width. And so when you get a movement, now here's this guy here, the back just dropped off because they didn't have it in there very tight. You have to be sure that when you put the movement in, the movement is going to fit right. And so if you get, for example, if you just go out and get any 39 millimeter case, because there is one, a fairly expensive one that you can get. If you do that, it may not fit. And so if you get a smaller case, you got to be careful about that. Another thing too, I'm going to be talking about this a lot more later. Hi, Flip and Zippo. This is something that is really fun to have. It's a sticky ball, and you use them to open and close the case on the screw down cases. The screw down cases are the easiest ones to deal with. The ones that you have to use a case knife with and pluck those out, they're a pain in the neck. The ones with the little screws, trust me, you'll lose one of those screws because they're really small. If you can find one with the twist off. I think they're the easiest ones to deal with. The ones with the screws, I think this one has, yeah. I opened this up. This one has these little screws right here on the case back. You don't want one of those. You don't, if you can help it. I mean, if that's the only one you can get and it's a really good deal, yeah, go ahead. And when you take the case back off, you got to be very careful not to lose lose everything. Couple tips of someone who's lost things, broken things, and is good at it. Hey, Flippin' Zippo, what's up? Okay, let's see what you guys are doing. Hoarding prescription bottles and watch collecting go hand in hand. You bet. you can't do without them. It's sort of like it, it also too, it's important to wear plaid. You need to know that. That's one of the secrets. Hi, Tony. Where is the best place to buy watchmaker's tools and what is needed? Do you have a list of minimum things? Tony, no, I don't. I am going to make that up. And next week in that series, that'll be step 2 in our series. And excuse me. I want to be careful about, it's better to have good tools, okay, and fewer of them. What I'm using as a guide is the guide that I had in 2 different watchmaking courses that I took. One was through, it's an online one through a TZ shop or something like that. And they had a list of tools to get. And I'm going to use that pretty much. And then when I went to the one that the Horological Society of New York had, we did everything. Now, what we did was that we totally took a 6498 apart and put it back together again. That's one of these. And we did it with 3 screwdrivers. Now, I've got a whole set of screwdrivers that I got, and they're fairly expensive. So I'm not suggesting that. I think for this project, I would get 3 screwdrivers, and the ones with the red, green, and blue tops on them. Now, those colors represents the size of the screws. Some people say, well, they have some people, some that you buy, they don't use that same color code. Well, if they don't, they get some good screwdrivers, and they will for that. And so we'll talk about next time. What I want to talk about is next week. We can really go into some of the sources of that. Some of the things like that you can get one of these right here. These are little bell jar tops on them, and this is a cushioned place where you put your where you can put things and work on them without messing up something. And you can get these at Amazon or any place. You don't have to get the most expensive ones. And I think what's important is that you have to decide, okay, what can I get cheap that works as well as the expensive ones, and what should I get expensive ones for? I think the expensive stuff, you want to get things like your screwdrivers and your tweezers. Those I think are important. The reason for it is that the tweezers are anti-magnetic, and you don't want magnetic parts. You got enough problems with magnetism without adding to it. So, hey, Zahid, how you doing, man? So in all of this is that you have to make some fairly judicious choices. I'll put it that way. What you want to do is that you want to get really good stuff, but it's better to get fewer better than seeing how many you can get on things like that little plastic case for, you're working on a project. You want to keep the dust out of the movement and stuff. So you put that on. I even have a little air filter that I got, a little thing that I put on my desk that filters the air. You know, that's a bit much. Um, okay. Yes, you guys are talking about things flying out. What you that's something else. Um, I'll talk about the some of these other things. Your body, it turns out, your body can be one of the best defenses against screws and different parts flying into the black hole of watchmakers. They go in there and they never come back. I have some I'll never find again. They also there's a way to make a like a broom, a magnetic broom, and you take a piece of wood and you glue some magnets on it, and then you drag it around your work area once something flies off, and often that'll happen. For this project, though, I don't think we're going to have that. I don't. I'm going to try to get everything. So all we have to have are all we need is a case and a movement. We'll put a dial on the movement and two hands on that, and Bob's your uncle. That's it. I mean, it's not that hard, and it in a way it's why I go into all of these tantrums about these watch companies that have relatively cheap everything, and they charge us a fortune for it. And so, that's sort of thing. It's not. I don't know. I just like I said, if you can put something together for like $150, and you got some clown at some watch company saying, "Oh, look at our great watch," and they call it a BD17 or something like that, and all it is the same thing we're using that we picked up for a song. They get it for even less because they're buying them by the thousands. So spring bar launching distance record. Yeah, that's what you want to do. By the way, too, for I don't include I do not include spring bars and straps. Now, there's a reason for that. I've got so many straps, I don't know what to do with them all. I keep forgetting and buying more. I don't know what's wrong with me. Now, this one was an unusual one, and so I thought, well, I'll put one strap on to see if I can do it. It turned out to be pretty easy to do. But with straps and stuff, don't even worry about those for a lot of reasons. One, I was looking at this latest Christie's auction, and the Christie's auction said if the watch shows an endangered species kind of strap on there, we're just going to send you a leather one. Okay, well, and that's because of sights. Sights is nothing wrong with sights. I'm 100% backing sights, which is, let's not use endangered species and elephant tusk and things like that. I'm for that. But the way they made it, you get some farmed gator hide, which is perfectly legal, but then they have this stupid paperwork that make it I mean, it's very easy to fake the paperwork. All they had to do is put some kind of little chip in a tag for it. That would, or just sort of slip a chip in there, bam, and that would, then you could spot something that was not sites approved, and then they could stop it that way. But the way they do it now, my God, they put you through all of this mess, and then they stop it anyway at customs. And so now a lot of companies say, look, if I order a watch from overseas, I say, look, just take the band off and send it separately, and then send the watch. If the band is stopped at customs, that's fine. And site says, no, you can't have that band. Okay, fine. But at least I'll have my watch. It's really crazy. So I'm not going to talk about bands. Here's my suggestion for bands. Buy your band or have a band made by someone in your own country, so it doesn't have to go through customs. And that way, I think you'll save yourself a lot of grief. Hi, Andrew. How you doing, man? Kids overslept. Okay. Blame it on the kids. All right. Hey, Dominic, how are you? The right tool for the right job gets the job done right. Exactly. And Dominic knows what he's talking about. Trust me on that. Yeah, you really need the right tool. You don't need, it's not the number of tools, it's just getting one right one. And I think sometimes you can, there's something I hate to do, but I do it all the time. I mean, you have to do, and that's cutting a stem. Basically, when you get your movement, let me see if I get one here. Here we go. This is a brand new ETA 6497. Okay, they'll come in a case like that, and they'll have this long stem with sort of a whatever crown on it. I also have a bunch of crowns. You can get the only kind of crown you want for them. What you have to do once you get it inside the case, once you put this thing in the case, you're going to have your stem sticking out like that. And so if you have a good metal cutter of some sort, that'll work, because you only have to do this, once. So one thing, of course, if you cut it too short, you're screwed and you got to get a whole new thing. And so usually you have to do it just a little at a time until you get it just right, which is a pain in the neck. But you don't have to go out and buy $1,000, kind of thing. Hey, Vinci, how you doing, man? So anyway, let me explain why this project instead of something else. One of the things that I noted when we were talking about our other project, we were going to get the Agenhor movement, the case by Butenlanen and Caton, and then what was the other thing? And then getting a dial, an enamel dial by V-Dial or somebody else. There's another one up in Scotland that a lot of people want to use. That's fine, doesn't matter. Here's the thing about that. A lot of people say, "Oh, gee whiz, I can't put something that complex together." It's not, well, first of all, it's not that hard. But I thought this would be a good project for people who've never put a watch together. We could use an automatic. By the way, too, this is an automatic with a date, not just a regular automatic. So this is like, for me, this is complex watchmaking. Anyhow, you can get straps a lot of different places. Like I said, if you get them, and they range all kinds of things. I think the top ones, the two kinds of top ones, there's this place in New York that I can go and have them handmade. There's a guy in Tennessee who makes them, and it'll bespoke, and he has different kinds of Tennessee critters that he makes them out of. It's sort of like, oh, first we'll have lunch, we'll take the skin and do something with it. Anyway, is this the case you mean? I don't know. It does look like a Panerai with this kind of thing, but I don't know. I forgot what I got it for even. I have all kinds of stuff. At some moment I said, this is what I need, and I'll need it sometime later. And usually that happens at some point. Anordain in Scotland. That's it, Andrew. That was what I was trying to think of. They also make ones. So, there are a lot of different options. Now, in this one, there are a lot of ways that we can go with it. If you want, you can go to a place like Anordain or like V-Dial, the one that we have here in Connecticut, or any place, and say, look, I decided I want my own personalized baked enamel diode. You can do that. And you can do anything you want to, really, as far as, there's no like, oh, we got to do it this way, we got to do it that way. This is something to have some fun with. I'm not going to be, get all Nazi about it. Anyway, well, listen, if you want to do this, any kind of thing, any kinds of sources that you have for straps or parts or this or that, let me know. I'm going to be doing a video on the parts of the tools next time. And then after that, I'll do, because these are little 5-minute videos. I figured if we took them in little steps, it would be easier to handle and do it one at a time. Yeah, different video guys making videos will have other resources and stuff. But anything you find out, and especially if you have experience with it, because a lot of times some of these videos, they'll say, do this and do that. Turn out they don't know what they're talking about. But on the other hand, if somebody says, hey, I dealt with so-and-so and they're good, I'll listen to them. So that's important, okay? All right, guys, my time is up, and so I got to run. Remember, a couple things to keep in mind on this. This thing is, wear your mask. That's one thing. And the other thing to remember, there's no such thing as too much plaid. So take care, and we'll see you next time.